Hey, you should listen to the Patriot Defense podcast. This kid knows what he's talking about.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, conceal carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the war room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Echols.
And we're back, tucked away in the war room somewhere in the high desert of southern Idaho.
And how is that for a little bit of a different intro? I just tried to mix it up a little bit, just kind of trying something new. I've been playing that same introduction for, I don't know, however long I've been doing the podcast, and I honestly don't keep track of that anymore. But it's been quite a few years, and it's such a good intro. I mean, I had a buddy of mine who actually does voiceover work. I had him actually help me create that. He did that. He did not charge me. He did it out of the kindness of his heart. And so I do like that, and I'm going to continue to use that. But I tell you what, the other voice you heard was a listener by the name of Mo, and she's actually, you could probably tell from her accent there, she is from Massachusetts, the Boston area, Quincy area, actually. And what I would like to do, it'd be kind of fun to do. I've heard some other podcasts do this. I kind of want to jump on board a little bit. I tell you what, if you want to introduce the Patriot Defense Podcast, you have a phrase that you want to say, you have something, as long as it's relatively clean. I mean, come on now. You can text that to me at area code 620-794-6223. It's area code 620-794-6223. You can send me a voice recording via text. You can send me a voice recording via Messenger on Facebook. And as long as it's pretty clear audio, I mean, make sure you don't have a lot of background stuff going on, I will try and add it in to some of the next upcoming podcasts. It'll be kind of fun. So I think that'd be fun. That'd be fun to do. Let's give that a try, and we'll see what kind of response that we get from that. So again, I know it's been a little while. Thought I'd jump on here today. I've had a lot going on, actually. I've had a lot of women's groups. My men's group has fired up. They're getting, neck deep in the dry fire right now. We're waiting for the time change, which is coming up here next week, actually. But I'm having them do a ton of dry fire, and it's amazing to me that when you don't shoot for a while, even if you take off a handful of months, right? I'm having these students dry fire for almost an hour in the classroom. And what are they doing? They're acquiring that grip. They're pressing the gun out, driving the gun forward. They're acquiring the sights and the sight picture. Then they're giving me a good dry fire. Then they're racking the slide to reset the trigger and doing it all over again. I get 10 minutes, 15 minutes in, and everyone's talking about how tired their arms are and how tired their hands are. And, dry fire is great for muscle memory, but dry fire is also great conditioning for actual shooting. So many times I get people that haven't shot in quite a while out on the range to shoot, and what happens? Well, shooting will fatigue you quicker than what you think. You use muscles that you don't realize that you use, up in your neck and your shoulders and your arms. It's like holding that. It's like holding that big dictionary or that encyclopedia out in front of you in outstretched arms. Like, how long can you do that? It doesn't weigh that much, but how long can you hold it out there without feeling that, without having you starting to drop your arms, without getting tired, right? So shooting is also not only dry fire, it's also doing those fundamentals, correct, but it's also being strong enough to continue to shoot. It's having that endurance. It's a little bit of an endurance situation, and I see that a lot when people don't shoot that much, and I really see that a lot actually in my permit classes, which have been crazy busy so far this year. It's phenomenal. It's a great start to my year. Those permit classes, I'm having almost 30 plus people in each class. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. But I see that in those classes because in those classes, right, people don't shoot that much. And when they show up, they've got to fire 100 rounds. And you really find out who's been shooting more than the other people because they start to get fatigued. You start seeing it about 30, 40 rounds in even, right? They start to get a little sloppy in their trigger press. It's like they're just like kind of throwing their hands up with the gun. They're not as what's the word I'm looking for? They're not as direct with what they're doing. They're not as focused. And you see that over time. And they have to fire, like I said, they have to fire 100 rounds. So it's interesting to watch the folks do that. Now, I had a big permit class yesterday, and I tell you what, that was one tough crew because I would watch the weather all the time whenever I have a class. And I'm watching the weather, and I'm looking, and I'm like, man, it's going to be nice out. Like, 50 degrees, 45 degrees, 60 degrees, whatever. And then sure enough, about 3 days before I have the class, the weather just tanks. It just dive bombs. And we had snow. We woke up to rain and wind. Then that went away. Then we had some snow. Then we had sideways snow blowing in probably a 35 to 40 mile an hour wind. I mean, people weren't getting real excited. We do the classroom portion in the morning, and we could see the snow going sideways. Like, it wasn't hitting the ground. I don't know where it ended up, but it was blowing. It was blowing perfectly sideways from, I believe it was from right to left. So interesting how that works. And then finally, it just kind of like let up and it cleared up and we got some blue skies and we got the sun. In fact, I posted a really cool picture over the range of people shooting with the sun and then the storm clouds. We had these ugly storm clouds that were circling around, but what didn't go away was that wind. It was quite... Some of the guys helped me yesterday. It was quite blustery, out there. And so we made sure we took a break in the middle of shooting to let people warm up their hands and then, go back out and finish up. But what a tough crew because the weather was not great yesterday. And I had about 20 people out there shooting and most all of them stuck around for the shooting portion. They had the option not to. But it was cold. I went in and layered up, and I know that it was funny. During lunch, I had lots of people waiting in line at the bathroom, or they would go to their vehicles, and they were changing. It's like, what are you guys doing? I'm putting on my long johns. Like, it's cold out there. But they stuck around. We got the shooting portion. It was an absolutely fantastic class, a great class. And, it's something else I kind of wanted to touch on here a little bit. I know I end up talking about things that I see in class or hear people, discussing or different things like that. And, we're pretty, I won't say we're relaxed. We are pretty relaxed here at Patriot Defense when we do our classes. Not relaxed in so much as we don't have proper safety, but we like to have a good time, right? I don't want to just be yelling and instructor mode and, like drill sergeant mode type, do this, do that. We have a good time and we kind of get to know each other and we like to add a little bit of humor to it, right? It kind of eases people's nerves just a little bit. And one of the things we do here, and it's the same thing you hear everywhere else, right, is we tease each other. We tease each other about what? About firearms, about calibers, about whatever. Now, we don't just sit there and just pick on someone until they cry. Like, we don't do it like that's not what we're doing here. But I tell you what, it's like the whole, if you drive a truck, it's a Ford versus Chevy versus Dodge debate, right? We just joke around and we have a good time. And what it boils down to is, even on the social media page, even on the Facebook or the Instagram, right? I post memes and it's just to have a good time. I'm not picking on anyone. I pick on myself. I like HKs and I'll find a funny meme about HKs that's pretty negative toward the brand and the gun manufacturer that I enjoy, that I like. And I will still post them. I try to be equal opportunity across the board with what I post. And I just want everyone to know that ahead of time. It's an interesting world that we live in that when I give a class and it's a big class like it was yesterday, they kind of have to give a disclaimer, hey, look, we're going to tease each other. And I tease the guys that I have that come in to help too. Like, It is what it is. And I'm not going to, pick on you and make you feel bad. I'm not. It's all in fun. It's all lighthearted. And by all means, if you're a student here and you come, pick on me too. Make fun of me. Make fun of my HKs. Make fun of my caliber choice. Make fun of whatever. And here's the thing. I have HKs. I've got Smith & Wessons. I've got cars. As far as firearms brand, I own 2 High Points. I got Smith & Wessons. I got Rugers. I got a handful of Tauruses. I've got Savage rifles in there. I've got, you name it, I've got it in there. I've got PSA or Palmetto State Armory in there. I've got Springfield in there. I've got a little bit of, I won't say everything, but I've got a little bit of a lot. And it is what it is, man. Bring it. If you like it and it works for you, shoot it and just learn how to shoot it. Learn how to make that trigger work. Learn how to make that gun work for you. Yesterday, we had I'm going to say this. Yesterday, we had a High Point in class. I've had High Points in the past come to class. Guess what? It was a brand new High Point. Guess what? It worked. It shot 100 rounds flawlessly. They all work. They all work. There's some that are better than others. Yes. Okay. Some's going to be a little, higher quality than other firearms, but they all go bang. And good God, if all you have is $200 to go out and purchase a gun, then go out and get what you can afford. Just learn to use it, practice with it, and train with it. I mean, that's, you go buy a High Point, that's $160, and you still got a few bucks to buy some ammo and go out and practice with that firearm. Learn the ins and outs of each firearm that you own and the pros and the cons and what you need to do to mitigate that stuff, right? If it's got a horrible trigger press, you're going to have to learn that trigger press. So that's what you work on. It's just one of those things, I'm not going to... we don't tease people to the point of feeling bad. We just joke and have a good time. And I mean, it is what it is. And every gun has its pros and every gun has its cons. And you got Glock. Are they fairly dependable? Yeah, they are. Are they probably one of the most popular firearms sold out there? Yeah, they are. Do they have a really crappy stock trigger? Yeah, they do. But do they pretty much go bang on that stock crappy trigger? Yeah, they do. They're going to go bang. Do I make fun of them? Yeah, I do. Do I own a Glock? Yeah, I do. A couple of them. High Points, big and bulky. Big, bulky, heavy, very inexpensive. Do they go bang? Yeah, they do. Do they have a really good lifetime warranty, like pretty much no questions asked? Yeah, they do. Are they cheap? Yeah, they are. Do I own a High Point? Yeah, I do. 2 of them. Okay. Cars. So that's, if you haven't heard, this is the one that you don't hear much about. It's KAHR. It was more popular. You heard more about it probably 15 years ago. Do I have a car? Yeah, I do. Are the triggers horrible? Yep. Does it go bang every time I press the trigger? Yep. That it is what it is. I have one of those. Okay. Revolvers. Revolvers kind of old school. Yeah, they can be. They only hold 5 or 6 rounds. Yeah, that's true. Are they kind of gnarly to shoot and they have long, heavy triggers? Yep. Can you learn how to use said triggers? Yep. Do I have them? Yeah, I have 1, 2. I had 3. I have 2. No, I have 3 revolvers. Okay, it is what it is. HKs. Are HKs pretty expensive? They can be. Do they make ridiculous firearms ads where the bullets are loaded backwards in the magazine? I just posted that on my social media page today. Yeah, they do that. Are they kind of snobby? Do they think they're better than everyone else? Yeah, dang right they do. Do I have a couple? Yep, I have a couple. Are they my favorite? Yes, I do like them. Okay, now let's talk about Smith & Wesson. Smith & Wesson, the M&P series, pretty good series, right? They've come out with some mistakes in the past. They've had the early M&P, not great. They had the SV9S, whatever it is. They had those series, not good. Bad triggers, horrible, crappy. Do I have some Smith & Wessons? Yeah, I do. I have one of the crappy M&Ps, and I got one of the good M&Ps. See, what else do I got that I can pick on here? Taurus. Tauruses are cheap, and they're inexpensive, and, are they great? They're okay. Are the triggers the best? Nah, not really. Can you learn how to use them? Yeah, you can. Can you go and spend like $230 and buy one? Yeah, you can. Do I have a Taurus? Yeah, I do. You know, Kel-Tec, they're kind of cheap. They're kind of crappy. Yes, they are to a certain extent. Do they look weird? Do they look like they were made by aliens? And they do. Does the PMR 30 have problems? Yes, it does. Do I have one? Yes, I do. Do I like to shoot it? Yes, I do. Okay, so you see what I'm getting at? You know, and then let's talk Springfield Armory. Some of the early stuff, it was kind of bulky? Yeah. Was it shaped like a brick? Yeah. Was it heavy in the hand? Yeah. Are they okay shooters? Yeah, they're not too bad. Do I have a Springfield Armory? Yeah, 2 of them actually, 2 of the XD series. So, I mean, I kind of got smart, and by the time the XDS came out, and just didn't get one of those. But yeah, I have those. You know, let's talk about rifles. Palmetto State Armory. Is it a good brand? I don't think it's too bad. Does it get made fun of a lot for being cheap and for the poor? Yep. Do I have one? Yep. So there you go, folks. I mean, get what works for you. Just learn how to use it. People are going to make fun. There's pros and cons of absolutely everything. People are going to make fun of them and not necessarily make fun of them, but tease you, right? Tease. It's good-natured ribbing is what it is. Good-natured ribbing. It's going to happen, okay? I'm not going to make anyone feel bad and cry. That's never my point. We never get that far, but we do have a good time when we talk about calibers, and by all means, give it back. I expect it, right? You're coming to, if you know anything about vehicles here, you're coming to get training from a guy that drives around old international scout or international truck type vehicles. Okay. Come on. I mean, I don't have the greatest of the great either. So it all works, but let's move on here. I do actually have a list today. I've had quite a few private classes over the last couple of weeks. You know, we've kind of working in and out of this Idaho weather. It's 60 degrees one day, and then it's snowing. Like today, it's snowing. It's kind of crazy. Ended up pulling out the Texas Star and getting the other steel out to shoot at and kind of take it out of storage for the year. And we've had some classes where we've used that as well. So we are getting back into the roll of things now that the weather is starting to change, hopefully. I haven't scheduled much in the way of classes this week. I do have my group classes, but I am actually getting ready to head to one of my ultramarathon races I have this weekend. So I've kind of dedicated most of my time to that. But I will say, I put out the call on Facebook. I put out the call a few podcasts ago about my men's group, about how the women were outpacing the men when it came to when it comes to signing up and getting training. Well, my men's group this year, filled. It's full. I love it. I love to see that men and guys are also coming out and wanting to get that training and wanting to be better. And, you know, I love all my students. We have a great time. But every now and then you'll have a year come across, you know, a shooting season, I guess, come across where you look at the people in the classes and you're like, man, I got a really, really good group here. And I do. I've got a really good group of students this year in all my groups, and I'm running 5 groups this year. So I'm looking forward. They want to learn. They're eager. They're putting in the time and the effort, and it'll be interesting to see kind of where they start. None of them have actually shot yet. We will start shooting. Most of them will start shooting next week because of the time change, and it'll be interesting to see where they start and where they are midsummer and where they're at the very end. That's always very satisfying as an instructor to kind of see them come full circle, right, and be more confident and more accurate and have a great time. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, I also want to talk about something that's, you know, it's been kind of a topic of conversation in some of my classes and the radio show that I do every Friday, and I just want to chat about it, okay? So in my mind, and I know everyone carries for different reasons, and I've probably touched on this before, but we're going to touch on it again. Everyone carries for different reasons. And just because you carry a firearm, folks, don't be in it. I'm going to say carry a firearm. Just because you have a firearm at your disposal when you need one, whether it be on your person, whether it be in your house, you shouldn't be, I'm going to just flat out say, you shouldn't be in a hurry to shoot someone, right? You shouldn't be in a hurry to shoot someone and shoot them without question. You shouldn't do that, right? Are there bad people out there that do bad things? Yes, there are. Right? But I'm going to use the same example that I always bring up in my permit classes, right? Just because the law says that if someone kicks open your door at 2 o'clock in the morning, right, they are a threat, right? And you can't engage. Here's what I'm going to say. Yeah, if someone kicks open my door at 2 o'clock in the morning, they aren't invited in there. I'm in there with my family. We're all asleep. I don't know this person. They violently entered my dwelling. The law, possibly to a certain extent, you get to a point where the law says, yeah, you can defend yourself. You can defend yourself with lethal force if necessary, right? You have to explain why you did what you did. But what if it is your drunk neighbor or someone who you don't know even that got the wrong house, ended up, they're not of their right mind. They're rifling through your fridge and you hear some noise. You come downstairs to find them what? To find them passed out on your couch, passed out on your floor. Should you still walk down and shoot them? Probably not. Probably not. Well, here's the thing. Even if they were still awake and they weren't taking anything, but you could tell they were inebriated, right? You shouldn't always be in a hurry to use your firearm. Could you walk down the stairs and could you say, hey, I got a gun, the police are on the way, get out of my house? And let them go. I honestly think that's the higher road. I think that's the way you need to do it. If they are not a direct threat to you, they're not trying to attack you, they're not coming at you, right? I think that's the better route to go. You should never be in a hurry to shoot someone, or let's put it this way, you should never be in a hurry to kill someone, to take a life, right? Now, I know you want to protect your family. Now, if you come down and you're like, I've got a gun, police are on the way, and that person turns and comes at you, reaches into their pocket, that kind of thing, by all means, defend yourself with that, right? But I heard some disturbing statements over the last, 2 or 3 permit classes that I've done where people are like, well, they're a threat. They're in my house. They're a threat. Well, they aren't supposed to be there, so they are a threat, but they haven't done anything threatening necessarily to you. If you just speak up, I got a gun, police are on the way, and allow them to leave, let them leave. Don't just come into the living room and shoot them. I mean, I guess you can do what you want, and you might be able to explain to law enforcement why you did what you did. And the law might actually say, no, that was a good shoot. That was it, right? That was a good shoot. But you have to live with the point that you just took a life. Life is precious, even of a person that is, in a bad place and is meaning to do you harm. You've taken a life, and that is something you have to live with for the rest of your life, right? Now, I've heard statements of people saying, well, they don't enforce the laws anymore like they should, and bad people are out there doing bad things, and I totally 100% agree with that. But that doesn't mean you shoot them. I hear these same people say, well, I got to take the law into my own hands, right? And we got to jump in and we got to eliminate and we got to take care of this. You don't, though. You carry a firearm. Why? This is why I carry a firearm. Now, there's some people out there that want to be heroes. I don't honestly know. We're all wired different, okay? And granted, this is just me on the show today, which is the way it usually is now. It is just me, okay? And I'm going to give you my take, my opinion, my thoughts on this matter. We don't have any differing ones on the podcast today, so I'm not saying they're not out there, but you don't have any today, okay? Why do I carry a gun? Well, I carry a gun to protect me and my family, okay? It's on me when I'm out and about. It's on me at home. It's near me when I'm sleeping, okay? Now, I'm not trying to be a hero, right? I carry concealed when I'm out and about because why? Because I like to have options, and carrying concealed gives me those options. What options does carrying concealed give me? Gives me the option of keeping the firearm to myself and using it when I want to defend myself or my family, And it also gives me the option of deploying it when I want to help someone else, right? That's why I carry concealed. I get the option of when to deploy said firearm. And if I'm out and about, which I don't do much, but if I'm out and about and I'm with my family, I'm with, loved ones, whatever it might be, my main concern is them, and I'm going to do what I need to keep them safe. And typically what I have planned to do is I'm going to use my firearm to do what? Use my firearm to keep them safe. Whether that means I use my firearm to get them safely out of a situation where there's an active shooter or something like that, then that's what I'm going to do. If I have to hunker down and have my firearm out to keep them safe while we wait it out because we can't get out of said location, that's what I'm going to do. If the fight all of a sudden comes to me, will I engage? Probably. Okay, that's just me. Call me cold, call me callous, call me, you're just going to let people die. Well, I'm probably not going to go hunt the people down. That's not me. That's not the reason why I carry. We all have to determine the reason why you want to carry. So many people immediately want to get involved, okay? And I think that there's people out there that want to get involved for the right reasons, but then I think there's people out there that want to get involved for the wrong reasons. And some of them have this kind of a hero type mentality that is not bad to have, but some of them I swear to God, it's when I hear them talk, it's like they're anxious to shoot somebody. Any chance they get, there's a threat, I'm going to shoot him. Well, they're a threat, I'm going to shoot him. Well, that's a person's a threat, I'm going to shoot him. If they're on my property, can I shoot them? That's a big one over the last year or so here in Idaho. If they're on my property, can I shoot them? No, you probably shouldn't, but they are on my property. Sorry, you can't defend your property. Can you go out and confront them with a firearm and try and detain them? Yeah, you can. And tell them police are on the way? Yeah, you can. If they turn around and walk away, can you shoot them? No, you cannot. Right? But you can have your gun there. You can try to hold them. You can show them your gun. Tell them to get off your property. Police are on the way. You can do that. If they turn and they look at you and they reach into that pocket, or they advance on you, knowing that you have a firearm out, they can see it, it's there, possibly pointed at them. At that point, defend yourself. My God, defend yourself. Do it. Right? You have a reason at that point that you are defending yourself. You shouldn't think about taking a life. The thought of shooting someone, the opportunity to shoot someone shouldn't be taken lightly. Like, you shouldn't just run out and do it or want to do it. And there's so many people that just seem like they're just, I'm going to shoot him. I'm going to shoot him. I'm going to shoot him. They walked in my house. I'm going to shoot him. They looked at me wrong. I'm going to shoot him. They touched my car. I'm going to shoot him. Shouldn't be that way, folks. You should be better. If you're going to carry a firearm, if you're going to get a concealed carry permit and carry a firearm, you should be better. I have those guys that come, in Idaho, we have constitutional carry. Yeah, I get it. I understand that. I'm for that. And then they come in, they get the permit, right? And it bothers me when these people are just like, when can I shoot him? When can I shoot him? Can I shoot him now? When can I shoot him? What would they have? The basic thing is you have to be able to explain why you did what you did. They have to be a threat to you, right? And some people's threat threshold is really, really freaking low. And they're just really, really trigger happy. And it's interesting to listen to those people in class. And it's interesting to actually see them shoot as well, because usually those two things go hand in hand. And I can typically tell you how someone's going to be on the range by how they act in class. So that's kind of fascinating to me. Now, I want to, now that I confused everyone and I'm kind of all over the place, let's talk about this. Something I was thinking the other day. Now, this one ought to stir some people up, I'm telling you. Here's the main thought. I'm going to throw out there, I've said it before. I'm libertarian, right? Less government, the better for me. That's the way it works. Now, in the state, we have constitutional carry, or what we call permitless carry. You can carry on your person concealed in the state without a permit. Even if you're visiting the state, if you can legally have a gun, you can carry without a permit. Even if you're 18 years old, you can conceal carry in the state without a permit. You can do that. Now, I always feel like everyone should feel the responsibility of that, and they should actually take a permit class and learn the laws and the basics and stuff like that. I think that we should feel that as human being carrying a firearm around. You should feel that burden of responsibility and try to do stuff correctly. That's the way that I see that it should be done. Should government require you to take a class and get a permit to exercise one of your God-given constitutional rights, right? No, they shouldn't. And we fixed that here in Idaho. We have constitutional carry. Should you be responsible, though, and take a class? Yeah, I believe you should. Here's the thing. In Idaho, you can carry without that permit, or you can also get a permit, right? You can get what we call our Idaho Enhanced Permit, and that allows you to do certain things. It allows you to carry on Idaho, state of Idaho college campuses, right, with that permit in certain areas. It also allows you to do what? It also allows you to purchase a firearm a little easier. In Idaho, when you get your permit and you take that background check for your permit, that background check is a better, more thorough background check than what you get when you go to purchase a firearm. So when you have said permit, you have to go, when you go to purchase a firearm and you have that permit, that enhanced permit in the state of Idaho, you pick out your gun, you fill out the paperwork, and they say, okay, they copy down some numbers, and away you go. They do not have to call it in because you have that permit, which is a better background check than is done for purchasing a firearm. So it's a little quicker. If the NICS system goes down because lots of people are buying guns, or it's down for maintenance, or it's down just because the government feels like they can control it and just take it offline whenever they want, then you can still purchase that gun. No one else can. They have to sit there and wait, right? So taking that 8-hour class and getting that permit, it offers you a few more benefits, correct? That is correct. And I agree with that. But here's also something that I think should happen. And this is where people are going to get upset with me. It's something I've been thinking about for a couple of weeks, and I've discussed it with some people. And nothing's going to probably happen because of it, because no one listens to me. But here's the thing. In that permit class, there's a couple things that are required. You have to have Idaho force law taught to you by a Idaho law enforcement officer of post-intermediate certification or higher. And you also have to fire 98 rounds. Now, you do not have to. They don't dictate how you have to fire those 98 rounds. You could just go out and shoot them into the dirt at your feet, really quick, mag dump, and I could sign off. Now, for Patriot Defense, we do some drills, stuff like that. There's no testing, there's no qualifying, there's no nothing. Here's what I have to say about that. I am so thankful for all the students that have come taken my class. I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful and proud of the students that have showed up to take my permit class, because they are doing what? They are going the extra mile. They're being more responsible and learning the laws and all that stuff. But I will say, there are quite a few people in that class that they come and they shoot. Now, they're keeping everything pretty well on a piece of paper. Some are better than others, and some need a little more help, right? And the way that everything is set up, they receive a little bit of help, but there's no test. There's no qualifying, right? So they can just kind of shoot, and unless they're spraying bullets all over the place, they're gonna get their permit at that point. There's no set criteria as far as you have to score this target or shoot so many rounds and score a certain score within a certain amount of time. There's no qualification, right? So people that might struggle, or that, people could come to class and shoot and they don't listen to any of they're safe, we'll say they're safe, but they aren't listening to any of my fundamental type help, or they're not using it, or they're refusing to use it, and they're shooting their way, and they're just shooting their 98 rounds, and they're just, kind of bang, 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 bang. Some hit the paper, some hit right on the edge of the paper. Maybe some hit, the target just above them. They could still go get their permit. I'm saying that maybe the state of Idaho should actually put a little qualification in there. A little qualification as you still have to shoot 98 rounds, but maybe, or let's say 100 rounds, but maybe you have to qualify with 10 rounds or 20 rounds, or there's some kind of little shooting test that you have to take. Now, don't make it totally unreachable, but let's hold people accountable for shooting, because so many times people get this permit, right? And honestly, they need lots of help shooting. And I think a qualification would be perfect, would be good for them. That makes them do what? Granted, they are paying for the permit, but they're also having to earn it, right? And they would be able to come in and earn that permit, passing a small, mid-level shooting qualification. And then I think the state should also look into those people that have done that and get that permit. Maybe they should have a few more benefits. Maybe they should earn a few more benefits. What those would be, I have no idea. If you look at right now, you look at with the Idaho Enhanced Permit, you can carry on state of Idaho college campuses, and you can carry everywhere but like living areas or any place that'll seat over 1,000 people. So maybe the state could open it up to letting you carry in those on college campuses. Would let you carry on places that would seat over 1,000 people. Maybe they could open that up a little bit more. Maybe it would open up some other places that you could possibly carry, right? I mean, something needs to happen. I think so many people carry firearms and they can't shoot. They don't do well. I mean, the stuff I see on the range, sometimes you just shake your head and you're like, wow, I can't believe. I'm glad that person is here so I can help them. But I can't believe the amount of people that carry without a permit. Now I'm going to have people screaming at me going, government shouldn't mandate and make you test and get a permit to exercise your constitutional rights. I get it and I understand, and that's why we have constitutional carry. They shouldn't do it that. But the people that want to carry a gun, that feel like they want to do better, that they want to actually be responsible, right? Those people should have the option, and they do right now, of taking the permit class. But let's hold them to a little higher standard here, people. You're carrying a gun in public. Know how to shoot it. Understand it. Be better with it. Anyone can fire a gun. Anyone can pick up a gun and make it go bang. I mean, that's super easy. I mean, my 10-year-old can do that, right? But so many people do unsafe things. And let's talk about this. In these permit classes, if you've never been around firearms before, I get it. But a lot of these permit classes, these people, I ask each and every person, what is your experience with firearms? Oh, I've been shooting for years, rifles, handguns. I've been shooting my entire life. I'm ex-military. I'm ex-law enforcement. I'm whatever. Okay, well, that's fantastic. We've got to know everyone now because that's part of it. It's kind of an introduction phase of my class. Now let's go over firearm safety. And this is exactly the way I say it. I say, there's 4 firearm safety rules that apply to all firearms. They apply to handguns, they apply to rifles, and they apply to shotguns. And in fact, I got posters on my wall that say what they are. And I say, I will tell you what they are, but I always like to ask, can somebody tell me what one? And I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of people that cannot recite to you the 4 firearm safety rules that carry a firearm every single day. People that say that they're that they used to be in a profession where they carried a gun, or I've been shooting and hunting for 40 years, but they cannot tell me they recite them and they try and they're wrong. They're wrong. Well, the one I've been getting lately is make sure the safety's always on. Well, how much of a firearm guru are you that you think every firearm comes with an actual external manual safety now, right? Tell me one of the rules. Make sure the safety's on. Well, no, that's not. I mean, that's a good rule if it's got a safety, but that's not one of the safety rules. They just sit there and they stare at you with a blank look on their face. It's like, tell me one of these safety rules. You've been handling firearms for 40 years. You just told me. You just told the entire class, right? And then the scary part is there's people that don't take a class, that don't come get the permit, that carry a gun every day. It's my constitutional right. Well, with safety and security comes a little bit of responsibility, right? They carry a gun every day. They don't take a class. They don't do any of that. And guess what? They don't even know the freaking safety rules. They aren't using a proper holster. They're loading a stupid gun and just dropping it in their pocket, right? They're using holsters incorrectly. And they can't recite the basic safety rules, which is what? Keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to fire the gun, right? Never point the gun at anything you're not willing to kill or destroy. Treat every firearm like it is loaded, even if you know it is unloaded, right? Know your target. What is beyond? What is before? What is around? When I start telling people about that safety rule, and I start telling them also that they are responsible for every round that leaves their firearm, right? They look at me kind of funny. And I'm like, well, even this 22 will go a mile and a half. Like, just because you can't see it anymore, or you've hit what you're shooting at and the bullet keeps going, you are responsible for the damage caused by that if you press that trigger and fired said bullet. I tell them that even in a self-defense situation, if you fire two times, you miss with the first round, you stop the threat with the second round, you are a hero. But where did that first round go that you missed with? Where did it go? What did it hit? Did it hit a building or a car? Because you're responsible for that damage. Did it take the life of an innocent bystander? Right? Because that's involuntary manslaughter, and you'll go to prison for that. They think that just because they stepped into the role of being a hero and they have stopped a threat, that none of those other rounds that they missed with, right, count for anything, and they're not responsible for them. You are, and you can go to prison if bad things happen with them, right? That's why you need training. That's why you need to know the basic safety rules. That's why you need to know how to shoot. It's more than just packing that gun around. I bet you 90, I was going to get some weird number, but I'm just going to stop at 90%, if not more, of the people that carry a firearm every day. Most of them can't even actually shoot it efficiently, right? They don't know what they're doing. I'm going to say they don't know the freaking safety rules. Do better. We need to do better. They're coming after our rights. We have to be responsible. We have to be an asset to the community, to ourselves, to others. We need to be safe. If you aren't safe, if you don't know how to fire that gun and hit a paper target the size of center mass, which is just a piece of printer paper, if you can't hit that, you shouldn't probably be carrying a firearm, whether it's your right or not. Honestly, think outside yourself. Think for the others that are around you. If you're going to carry a gun, go get training, learn how to be safe, question yourself, go out and do better. And that, my friends, is where I am going to end the podcast. I'm kind of fired up now. Actually, I didn't mean to get that fired up, but I am kind of fired up now. But I tell you what, if you like and listen to this podcast, share it with all your family, your friends, share it on social media. I would appreciate it. That helps me out the most. And I tell you what, if you carry a gun, go find a class. Go get training. Do something. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to others around you. And until then, I tell you what, give me a call. Text me. Message me on Facebook. Let me know. Give me an intro. Give me something, and I might, if I like it, I may put your audio on my intro. Show me, give me an intro to the podcast that is outside the box, something that I haven't done. That would be absolutely fantastic. Make sure it's clear and legible, and let's keep it somewhat clean. But go ahead and do that, and I'll see if I can throw it on there. I look forward to hearing what you guys send me. Until then, I don't know if I'll get back to you this week or not. It might not be till after next weekend, but I will be back. I'll talk to you later.